Welcome
Let's head to the castle. Climb on my back.
Welcome back to Fire Emblem Engage. We're starting things by riding on a dragon. Last time, we fought some corrupted after a small moment of brave Sir Robin ran away. And now it's backstory time.
We live on the continent of Elios, 4 realms surrounding a holy land at its center. Firene, Kingdom of Abundance. Brodia, Kingdom of Might. Elusia, Kingdom of Knowledge. Solm, Queendom of Freedom. The land of Lithos, home of divine dragons. And Gradlon, domain of the fell dragon, fallen to ruin. 1,000 years ago, our lands endured a vicious war with the fell dragon. We called upon heroes from other worlds to aid us, heroes known as Emblems. With them, the warriors of our nations fought as one. In the end, we were victorious in defeating and imprisoning the fell dragon. In the years since, our world has been safe. But now, I sense a resurrection. The binding weakens. If his shadow stretches across the land again, then we must fight him anew, as we did in ages past. Fell Dragon, Sombron, must be stopped.
There was also another war where the derp dragon Dumbron tried to turn all the emblems into green units, but we do not speak of those dark times.
Here we are. We are safe within these walls.
Because there's no war in Lithos Castle?
So this is Lithos Castle. It's beautiful.
And very sparsely populated.
I'm glad you think so.
Apparently the manga actually does flesh out Lithos a bit more and show that people do live there.
Though you may not remember this place, I've long waited to welcome you back here. Welcome home.
And yeah, this game does suffer from not voicing the main character's name. It almost feels like at this point in the series they should just drop being able to name the avatar. Apparently there's some unused data that suggests they were going to voice the name Alir if you chose that.
Alir!
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 Which I kind of wish they did.
I'm home?
Yes, you are.
That is like the most awkward and confused Tadaima ever.
I feel overwhelmed with joy. I may cry.
I already am.
Queen Lumera.
Vander. Clan. Frem. Thank you for all you've done. You are worthy stewards indeed. You and your predecessors, watching over my child all these years. I am ever so grateful.
Oh yeah, those 31 other stewards who just died of old age before we even woke up. Yeah, let's honor their sacrifice, I guess.
You are too kind.
Yeah, it's awful nice of you to say that. I'm starting to feel woozy.
These two are so lucky we woke up when they were still young.
Oh yeah, go us! We just got praised by Queen Lumera herself!
And also lucky that, you know, we just happened to wake up during their lifetime.
The happiness of this moment aside, I am troubled to see the corrupted here in Lithos.
The corrupted?
Those enemies you were fighting out on the grasslands.
Oh, I didn't like those things one bit. Just the sight of them made my blood run cold.
I mean, zombies with their, like, skin cracking, yeah, that would freak out anyone.
Understandably so. The corrupted are corpses revived by an evil power. The Fell Dragon used them as his soldiers in the war. Before the start of that bitter conflict, Elios had known peace for eons.
I mean, zombie soldiers are awfully convenient. It means the longer the war goes on, the more your own troops are replenished.
But then, a dark presence emerged. Sombron. Despite tireless searching, we could not determine where he'd come from. But seeing the destruction he wrought, There was no doubt of his evil intentions. Now the corrupted are spreading once more. This may be a sign of his return.
Yeah, I mean, do we know of any other necromancers in this world?
No.
I wonder if it is mere coincidence that you awakened as all this unfolds.
Yeah, there are no coincidences in places like this.
If the Fell Dragon has been released, then we must prepare for battle.
But at like level 1 Alir, still, because we didn't level up last time, I'm not sure we're really a match for him.
I can't imagine fighting someone like that.
Worry not. I doubt he will attack anytime soon.
Lumera, please. Oh, every word out of your mouth is just tempting fate.
This castle is filled with the spirits of divine dragons. The corrupted cannot enter it easily.
Again, tempting fate, but also implying there were more divine dragons in the past that are dead.
Let us devise a plan now, while we have the opportunity. Emblem Marth.
It's been quite some time, Lumera.
Oh, so you answer to her now.
That it has. Thank you for lending your aid against the corrupted.
You're welcome. But of course, I could help only because your child remembered me.
Yeah, imagine if we'd remembered Lyre or Gwendolyn. Things would have been so much worse.
You know, it is possible the others are awake now, just as I am.
Perhaps you are right.
Sorry, but what do you mean? Who's awake?
There is something I should show you. Follow me.
I recognize this place from the title screen.
What is this place?
This is the Ring Vault. It is where the emblem rings are enshrined.
I also recognize some of those statues.
Those of the Holy Knight, of the Sage Lord, and of the Azure Twins rest here.
So 3, 4 if you're counting the twins as 2.
As well as the Ring of the Princess Exalt. And finally, the Ring of the Instructor.
6, okay, 6 out of 12, that's a lot of them.
Each dwells within an emblem ring, as Marth resides in the Ring of the Hero King.
So, counting Marth, there are 6 emblem rings. Wow.
In fact, there are 12. 6 here, and 6 entrusted to the other countries. As a precautionary measure.
What do you mean?
The emblems grant world-altering power to whoever has all 12 rings. For generations, the Divine Dragons used this power to ensure peace and prosperity in Elios. Indeed, that was how we locked away the Fell Dragon. But many have sought to steal the rings, and use them for their own nefarious purposes.
Which is why they're scattered all over the continent, not just stored here.
Yeah, don't keep all your kinda nukes in one place, essentially.
Precisely. The rings offer their power but once every 1,000 years.
Well, that's awfully convenient given when we woke up.
At which time the Divine Dragon travels across Elios to collect them from each nation's ruler. With 1,000 years having passed since last time, I was planning to carry out this ritual soon. But if the Fell Dragon is after the rings, the emblems may be summoned before I arrive.
Summoned?
It is how one calls for an emblem from a ring, just as you did earlier with Marth.
But what happens if he summons them at 3 stars? Then he'd be really easy to beat.
Only those with royal dragon blood are capable of summoning. That includes you, my child.
And presumably includes Sombron, then.
Oh, you must be talking about the phrase that popped into my head.
An invocation, you mean? What was it?
Shine on, emblem of beginnings. I wasn't even thinking about it. The words just fell from my mouth.
That was how you summoned Marth. What was your focus, your intention when you spoke those words?
I wanted to help Clan and Fram. I didn't want to lose them. I wanted to protect them.
Your focus was on helping others. Remember that intention whenever you summon emblems. Not to keep the power for yourself. Understand? To borrow so you may protect others.
Okay, so don't think I want to be able to one-round bandits or you might summon an evil Marth. Got it.
I understand.
Now, why don't we try a practice battle? You must be a little rusty after all these years.
Well, I mean, I said before they weren't going to let us fight a dragon early. I guess we were wrong.
How about we train here? You will be the one fighting. The emblem lends you their strength. You need to train your body and mind to unleash an emblem's full power. Vander, Clan, Frem, you will be aiding my child in this battle. Against me.
Queen Lumera, even in a practice battle, I could not turn my weapon on you.
Oh, Vander, please do put your heart into it. I know I will.
In other words, oh Vander, you couldn't kill me even if you tried. And yeah, we see we've got Vander there and the sprites down there. It's everyone who's joined your army so far.
The corrupted?
No, dear. Not at all. How could you think so? I made these opponents from plants and rocks.
So we're gonna get beaten up by trees, got it.
Nevertheless, their abilities are the same. Drop your guard and you could be hurt.
Yes, we don't want to forever be known as the Divine Dragon who lost to a tree.
They're really unsettling. Can we train with something else? They give me the chills.
Listen, you must push through your fear and face whatever opponent stands against you.
You know, I can just imagine these things saying, "Don't worry, we are not unsettling at all."
Never run away. You are my child, the protector of all. The Divine Dragon.
I understand.
Yeah, from now on, Alear is going to be pronounced the Divine Dragon, canonically.
Don't worry, Divine One. We'll back you up every step of the way.
And occasionally Divine One.
Yeah, what Fram said.
As loath as I am to battle against Queen Lumera, orders are orders. I pledge to bring us victory.
Thank you, everyone.
Now, let's begin.
Time to chop down some trees. Kind of. So we're going to defeat boss mission this time.
Be cautious, Divine One. Some of these enemies are carrying long-range weapons. Therefore, they can rain arrows upon us from afar.
Thinking about it, is a soldier made out of a tree using a bow. Doesn't that kind of mean they're using, like, bits of their own corpse to attack you with? That's kind of dark when you think about it. But yeah, some enemies can attack from 2 spaces away. Bows are actually quite decent in Engage, so you will want to be aware of enemy archers. Weapons with a range of 2 cannot counter adjacent attacks, but as this game is more player phase focused, that's not usually a big deal. So yeah, here's that enemy archer, and its speed is pretty bad. It's got an attack power of 13 versus Alear's defense of 5, so actually is going to be hurting Alear a pretty solid amount. We also have this enemy Fabrication Axe. Well, I haven't shown this, but like, Fabrications are the divine counterparts to Corrupted. But we also have Clan and Fram. I'm going to attack with Alear first because it's going to explain a bit of a unique mechanic.
See this enemy with the axe. Axe wielders are at a disadvantage against swords. Swords are strong against axes, axes against lances, and then lances against swords. If you outmatch your foe, you can break their fighting stance for an advantage in combat. Try it. Strike with your sword. After their stance is broken, they'll be open to further attack.
This is the break mechanic, which is not accessible in the last chapter, even though it kind of should have been. Whenever you attack on the player phase only with an advantageous weapon, the enemy will get broken. This means they cannot counterattack during their next combat. Then they'll find their weapon and they're fine. And yeah, this is the weapon triangle, but arts, or as I like to call them, fists or punching, have an advantage over knives, bows, and magic. Those don't have any break capabilities of their own, though. Although before I do that with Alear, yeah, If I attack the archer first with Vander, I'll be able to have Vander's personal skill in effect when I attack with Aaliyah, although if I attack the archer later with Vander, he'll one-shot thanks to Divinely Inspiring, so you know what, I should probably attack with Aaliyah first. It's kind of cool the considerations you have to make with skills. So, let's go for this sword attack. Now, you have to hit to break the enemy. You also have to deal damage to break the enemy. If you do no damage, the enemy will not be broken. There are other ways you can make yourself immune to break too.
Well done. You see, swords are strong against axes. Always keep such weapon advantages in mind. Enemies can't counterattack while recovering their stance. A good time to finish them off.
So with this, you're kind of expected to use Vander to finish this guy. Unfortunately, oh, actually, no, Vander will leave him just barely on 1 HP. I mean, I would kind of like to use Vander to one-shot that archer, though. But I don't think, so you have 13 magical attack and you have 1 resistance. You have 6 physical attack versus 3 defense. I don't think Clan and Fram to get, although, no, Fram will do a little more thanks to Divinely Inspiring. I'm just trying to think about how I go about this. Firstly, though, let's talk about Clan and Fram.
Hey, Divine One. I don't know if you knew this or not, but I can use magic. I'm good from near or far, even against well-protected enemies.
This is especially true of Engage. Remember that high defense enemies, you really, really want mages for them. And magic is typically 1 to 2 range, but not always. And mystical units, that is mages on foot, not mounted mages, their special bonus is ignoring terrain. This is going to be useful here because Lumera is standing in the thicket and she can be annoying to hit without Clan's magic. So here we go. If I attack from physical range with Clan, he doubles, so it would die anyway. But if I attack next to Aaliyah, then I do 15. You know what, I'm going to actually go for the attack here just to show off that because this guy's broken, he can't counterattack Fram. He can't counterattack Clan. Sorry, I've confused their names a lot.
Did you see that? Never underestimate me!
Clan is the first mage you get, and regardless of whether you want to take him all the way, you will need him to defeat Armor Knights in the early chapters. The problem is, on the higher difficulties, his base magic is just 1 or 2 points off reliably 2-shot killing them, and look at that base growth in magic. Clan is somebody who clearly doesn't want to be a mage. If you get lucky with his 35% growth early on, he can become very reliable, but if you don't, and that's likely, you may need Aaliyah's personal skill to fix up his damage. Speaking of which, Clan's personal skill, Verdant Faith, gives him and Aaliyah plus 10 to hit if they're adjacent. Neither of them have much trouble with accuracy, but it always sucks to miss a high hit rate, so added hit chance is always appreciated. If you want to use him in the long term, Clan's main asset is having a pretty good speed growth for a mage, especially compared to the other ones you get early. Magic is very strong in Engage, and being able to reliably double attack with it makes for very good damage, even if your raw magic stat is not great. He also has a much higher base growth in strength than in magic. Combined with his starting proficiency in swords, the game clearly wants you to make him a Mage Knight. And that's not bad, since Mage Knight is an excellent class in Engage. Just be warned though, that will change his unit type from mystical to cavalry, and so he'll lose the ability to ignore terrain with tomes. Beyond a bad magic growth though, Clan's main weakness is starting at level 1, meaning it will take him a while to reach level 10, the earliest point you can promote, and by the time he gets there, some other mages will have joined who many like better than him. But Clan doesn't have much competition for both being a mage and the first magical emblem we get in the early chapters, and that alone makes him worth using. And now let's talk about Fram.
The Divine One looked right at me!
Get used to her saying this.
You know, I can do some mean healing with my staff. Not only that, I can take incoming hits for nearby allies. but it smarts when I do. Anyway, if you don't want to get hurt, or you need some patching up, just lean on me.
So not only is Fram a healer, but there are a lot of utility staffs in Engage, so staff users are very valuable. And yeah, they can heal, staves, okay, so I haven't explained this yet, weapons in this game have unlimited uses, but staves are still limited. But not only is Fram a staff user, she's also a key adept. I alluded to this in Aaliyah's bio earlier, but key adepts are very useful because of the Chain Guard ability. This means adjacent allies will be guaranteed to take no damage from the first attack that hits them, but the key adept will lose 20% of their own max HP. And because Chain Guard only works while the key adept has full HP, they can only take one hit for an ally per enemy phase. This is also quite annoying because it means that if a key adept levels up and gains 1 point of HP, they stop being able to Chain Guard. I really wish that wasn't the case, but yeah. It's kind of a thing that exists. So for example, I could have Fram go up here and try and guard Clan. This is why key adepts are so useful, by the way. The Chain Guard mechanic is great, and Fram is one of the only users of it for a long time. So let's go over her.
Me? Okay!
Fram is the first staff user we get, which is excellent not just for healing, but because Engage has a lot of utility staffs. And due to the way weapon ranks are fixed according to class, Fram doesn't need to grind up her staff rank to use them. Being a key adept also gives her access to Chain Guard, a very useful mechanic for protecting allies that only 2 other people get access to until Chapter 14, one of them being a reclassed Aaliyah. Fram's personal skill, Crimson Cheer, gives plus 10 of Void to both her and Aaliyah if they're adjacent. Don't worry though, this is the last personal skill that relies on Aaliyah. But as it stands, this stacks well with Aaliyah's personal skill and Aaliyah being able to support everyone. Outside of Aaliyah, Fram also happens to support a lot of very strong characters. This combined with an emblem obtained in Chapter 11 that is excellent on key adepts, and her personal skill, makes Fram a very effective dodge tank with that build. If you do train her, Fram is notably in a 4-way tie for the highest base speed growth in the game, though her default class doesn't boost it further, and Fram likes her default class, as it aids her utility and boosts her magic and resistance growth to a respectable 50% each. She also has an okay strength growth in this class, and that's relevant because arts actually scale their damage off the average of your strength and magic stats. Don't expect good things from Fram's combat for a while though. Most arts hit twice when initiating combat, but in the early game, Fram will only do 1 to 2 damage to most enemies. But that's no reason to write her off. Fram is not good because of combat, and she can level up just fine by using staves. Whether you want early game healing and chain guard utility, or late game chain guarding and evade tanking, Fram is your girl. And now, yeah, like I said, I kind of want the experience to go to someone else, but I'm gonna have Abandon one-shot this guy. I'm used to playing this chapter on Maddening, where I don't one-shot.
I will defend, always.
So now the only foe left is Lumera. And be careful, she's not exactly an easy opponent. She has the sword that we might recognize from the Premonition chapter, which seems to be Divine Dragon only, huh? Maybe we could use it one day. Fills engage meter by 1 when the user attacks and defeats a foe in a single turn. Huh, that's weird. Why would enemies have the engage mechanic? Also, she has the Divine Spirit skill, which shortens engage meter. Again, why would enemies need an engage meter? Her stats are fairly low though, but her physical attack can be a little dangerous. The Divine Dragon, a ruler of the Holy Land of Lithos. Okay, so she was the one who vanquished the Fell Dragon, interesting to know. And also, Divine Dragon is a class that Aaliyah will later promote to. But okay then, as I said before, she is in a thicket, so her evasion is quite high. This is where Clan is useful, because he gets basically a guaranteed hit on her. Meanwhile, Vander... Yeah, Vander still does solid damage, and, I'm gonna go for this. He might miss, but it'll probably be fine even if he does.
Queen Lumera, please forgive me for standing against you.
Vander, you are my child's knight. You must fill that role as best you can.
Oh, don't worry, he fills the Jagan role incredibly well.
Attack me with all your might.
I do think Vander is easily the best Jagan in the series next to Marcus and FE6. Okay, yeah, I had a feeling that would happen. That's probably fine. I say probably fine because I have actually had to restart this chapter before. In fact, I had to restart this chapter twice the first time I played on hard.
Queen Lumera, I don't want to attack you. Ugh, I feel dizzy.
Sharpen your focus, clan, lest you miss.
And that's the thing, Clan's main use here is not missing Lumera. Lest you miss, like Vander. I can honestly see Lumera as just having kind of a friendly, snarky relationship with Vander. But okay then. Okay, right, Alea is not in range. So okay then.
Okay.
Right. Lumera's speed is... Yeah, Lumera's not gonna double anybody. Don't really like her going into terrain either. And it says that she's going to attack Alea, so I'm going to preemptively engage here.
Lend me your strength.
You can skip these by pressing the start button, by the way. And preemptively equip the rapier, because that's going to raise his stats a lot. Also, okay, yes, it is the L2 button, or the ZL button to lock in all enemy attack ranges. Just don't really want Fram to get attacked.
There is no need to hold back, my child.
Her AI does seem to prioritize Alea, though.
All right.
Well, that was short. She does two-shot Alea, though. And there we go, Alea's first level. Not bad. I'd appreciate speed, but defense is nice. So here's something about this map that I wish I knew before.
Our foes are strong.
You should use Lodestar Rush while you can. I'll explain why in a moment, but you know what? Since Alea just leveled up, I'm gonna let Clan take this one.
I'm so sorry.
What, are you sorry at not being beaten by Alea, or at the fact that
Fantastic work. You fought together splendidly.
you got wrecked by a mage with a terrible magic growth? I don't know.
Let's move on. Wait over there a moment.
So this is a two-phase chapter.
All right. If everyone is in position, we'll begin. This time, I will be more hands-on. I intend to fight as if in an actual battle.
She is very much not kidding about the hands-on part. This is why I like this map so much.
Furthermore, I'll be using this.
Oh no, the Dark Grey Ring!
Is that the Ring of the Holy Knight?
Indeed it is. I'm inviting an old friend to join us.
Ah yes, a fellow parent of a Fire Emblem protagonist who met a tragic fate. That's not implying anything at all!
I am Sigurd. If you require strength and swiftness, I am all too happy to oblige.
I was looking forward to hearing Grant George as Sigurd in a Fire Emblem 4 remake, but maybe that day will come one day.
Emblem Sigurd. He looks like a strong opponent.
Well, I mean, considering how busted he is as a Fire Emblem Lord, I'd hope so.
Each emblem has their own abilities.
And this is definitely true. Every emblem is very unique, and I love that.
When allied with them, you can call upon their unique powers and skills.
Whatever Sigurd's power is, it won't be the same as Mart's. We'd better keep our eyes open.
And summoning more trees.
My rapier is effective against cavalry, like those enemies over there. Once we engage, you can use my weapon. Try it against that foe.
I would, but due to reasons, we probably won't end up fighting those cavalry. You don't need to. Yeah, so there's an emblem energy space here that can fully recharge your emblem by waiting on that space. That's good to know. And yeah, this is why I encourage you to use Marth's engage attack in the first half of this map, because there's no reason to take that space with anyone besides Aaliyah. They're the only one with an emblem. I already talked about this before, but you can lock in individual enemies' ranges, or you can lock in all of them at once with the ZL button. So again, no reason not to take this space with Aaliyah. And Aaliyah is in no danger from this because he's going to break the enemy. You knock wood out of my hand, me tree. Why me use wood? Ah. But we can look at Lumera here for a little bit of a sneak preview of Sigurd's abilities. Known as the Emblem of the Holy War, boasts high movement and powerful lance attacks. Sigurd's power is the power of horse, which makes sense if you've played his home game. Also, while engaged, Lumera will be able to use the Rider's Bane, which is effective against cavalry. That's kind of scary. While synced, she gains Canter, which lets her move 2 spaces after acting. So essentially, it's like a renamed version of Kanto. They've finally figured out that its name should relate to horses in some regard. The only reason it was called Kanto before was because Raisin was a singer. But okay then. Let me just see. Wow, I've been playing too much Maddening. I am not used to clan one-rounding things at all. I mean, I'll take it, but I'm not used to it.
For the Divine Dragon.
And he's getting decently close to leveling up, too. But yeah, the danger range is important because, as you can see, there's some cavalry here. But you might notice they only have 5 moves. So like I said in the last chapter, the only advantage cavalry have over their on-foot counterparts is just 1 movement. It's still, you know, a pretty big advantage, but it's something you'll have to bear in mind. Now, maybe I can lure you in with Vander and then Clan will be able to finish you. Because I kind of want to show off something here. I don't want you to take that defensive terrain, but you might. Okay, firstly, there's an archer here, and Vander takes 3 damage, but he's fine. Oh no, he didn't even go for the terrain. So here is something important to note. I did not break this enemy. Break, as I said, only works on the player phase. Now, what that means is that the weapon triangle actually means nothing on the enemy phase. So, in earlier games, I could say put Aaliyah on the front lines against axe users, hoping for an increase in, like, evasion to protect him. That does not work like that in Engage. So, you'll need to operate on slightly different logic to get by here. Let's see. You only get, I suppose I could say, singled rather than doubled. Actually, hang on a second. Aaliyah can finish the Lance guy, whereas a combination of Vander and Clan should be able to finish the bow girl. Okay, Vander at least didn't crit there. Vander has an annoying tendency to crit in the early chapters when you really don't want him to. So let's just go ahead and snipe you down with magic.
Sort of like that, maybe?
Yes, make a sound like that when you die. That's good. Oh, okay, that's a nice level up from Clan there. +1 magic is great because Clan's magic growth is stupidly shaky. And as you can see, Fram is not good at, well, combat in general, at least not now. So, as you can see right now, Aaliyah's not really doing so well, but on the combat forecast screen, I can press plus to engage without having to sit through the animation, which is cool. And with this, I can switch to the rapier. And you might notice here that he has the enemy has much less hit rate. As I mentioned in Marth's bio, the rapier gives an unlisted +20 to evasion, which also makes Marth quite good for evade tanking. So there we go.
I cannot afford to lose.
That guy is down. So we're about to encounter the enemy cavalry, or are we? The problem is, these are sword cavalry, which means that if I try and put Vander on the front lines, he will get broken, and then he won't deal damage to them with his counterattack. But I guess I'll do this anyway. While we're here, though, I can heal Vander. One kind of interesting thing to note about Engage is that if you want to turn off animations, you actually have to turn off battle animations and staff animations separately. I can put Aaliyah there for -1 damage to Vander. I mean, you know, it's not like we'll need that, right? Right?
Your teamwork is inspiring. Now it's time for us to make our move. Come, Sigurd.
This is what I like to call the Lumera jump scare, but this is an aspect of this chapter that I absolutely love, because it's brilliant from a gameplay standpoint.
That was incredible.
Lord Sigurd is remarkably swift. Perhaps we should be grateful this is a mock battle.
Notice how she went for Vander over Clan there. She usually always does, to show off the Rider's Bane's effective damage, but what's also really cool is that even on Maddening, she does not one-shot Vander. This means you get to see just how valuable emblems are and how Sigurd works, but you're not punished by losing a unit for it, especially since the game doesn't tell you that Lumera can do this. This also tells you that enemies can use emblems, and they work the same way yours do. It also shows you that bosses in Engage move, and are a lot more dangerous than your average Fire Emblem boss because of this. Also, we get to see how Lumera looks when she's synced with Sigurd. So important note here, engaging with Sigurd gives you +5 movements, actually +6 for Lumera because she's a dragon, but it does not turn you into a cavalry unit. This was a mistake that I made when I first played. I thought that Lumera would be weak to the rapier because she's engaged with Sigurd. She's not. As you can see here, the rapier does do normal damage to her. So she still retains her original unit type, she just gains ridiculously overkill movement. Well, actually not even overkill, but right. The sad part is I really like Aaliyah to take down Lumera, but like, actually, Aaliyah would probably get more experience from that. Clan's already leveled up once, and I guess I'll heal up Vander a little. Just, you know, I probably won't need to heal Vander.
I fight another day.
Now, if I don't finish off Lumera this turn, we're gonna have problems. Like, Fram's probably gonna get destructified. But here's the thing: I have Lodestar Rush, so I'm pretty much all set. Because as you'll see in a moment, the great thing about Lodestar Rush. Okay, whose bonus would I rather have here? I mean, I don't really need anybody's bonus, but I suppose actually, no, I don't need Clan's bonus, because here's what I was going to say. The great thing about Lodestar Rush is not only does it let you deal a flurry of attacks, it also never misses.
This is certainly more of a challenge.
Your enemies will not hold back, and neither will I. That is why you must defeat me.
See, I like this. Excellent gameplay and story integration. Lumera's boss fight shows that enemies will not hold back and engage, and especially that bosses won't.
What a delight it is to see you in battle after all these years.
But it does it in a very controlled environment where she's not likely to kill anybody with her first attack. Enemies will not show you this mercy.
So sorry.
Sorry, Mom.
You've won. I'm proud to see you working together so well.
And we're already up to bond level 3. Now this is a sync skill, so we have access to this right now, and I love that you're unlocking this now as well, because yeah, this ties in with the break mechanic that was just explained. Marth also incentivizes the player to learn the break system early, because they're your first emblem and they have a skill that gives you a bonus attack if you break something. Oh, Clan was the MVP. Kind of thinking it would be Aaliyah. So you may also notice that I left 2 of the enemies alive here. Something that I find about Engage is, oftentimes you don't need to kill everything on the map. You generally get plenty of experience from the chapters. So I'll be, you know what, I'll save to a separate slot just in case something went wrong with the recording. But yeah, some people think that experience is like pretty sparse in Engage, and it can be sometimes.
Well fought, everyone. You bested Sigurd and me. That's quite the feat.
I also just realized that I didn't get to beat Sigurd with Clan's Fire Tome for maximum irony points.
There is much to improve upon, but this is a wonderful start. Great work.
As long as you pick a team that you want and stick with it through most of the game, I find you usually get plenty of experience through the chapters, and this is important because Engage has a lot of chapters that you really want to end them as soon as possible. They don't want you dawdling in these maps.
Thank you.
I can't believe we had to fight against Queen Lumera.
Yeah, well, I can't believe we won!
Though you have only just awoken, your power seems to be growing already, Divine One.
I'd like for you to have this.
This is the sword you were using, isn't it?
Yes. An ancient blade that can be wielded only by divine dragons. It served me well for many years, but now it is yours. Consider it a prize for your victory today.
It's a little better than an iron sword, and also fills the engage meter when you one round an enemy, which admittedly Aaliyah is not good at doing without emblems.
Thank you. Someday, I'll prove that I'm worthy of this sword.
And the reason why I'm not saying its name is, could people in the comments please explain how to pronounce it, because I'm terrible with French.
I have no doubt. Please, take this as well.
Is this another emblem ring?
No, it is purely ornamental. You see, before your slumber, I made you a promise.
What was it?
I said I'd give you a birthday present that suited you perfectly.
But it's not my birthday for, like, another few weeks.
I was working on it in private, but I was unable to finish it in time.
Maybe that's why it's half red, half blue?
That birthday has long since passed, but I would quite like to give you this gift now.
I'm sorry. I can't accept.
Why not?
Because I hate birthday presents!
That ring fulfills a promise you made me, right? But I don't remember that promise. It'd feel wrong accepting it. Like I was taking a present meant for someone else.
I do see where Aaliyah is coming from. It just kind of, reminds me of how oftentimes it does, feel to me like if somebody loses their memories, it's almost as if they become a completely different person.
Please offer me this gift again once I've remembered everything.
Everything, you say? Did facing me in battle stir any recollections?
It didn't. I'm sorry.
You need not apologize. It doesn't matter what you can remember right now. I only hope that one day you will think of me as your mother, as you did 1,000 years ago. Forgive me. I was so thrilled to spend time with you again. I suppose I got a little carried away, didn't I?
Yeah, engaging with Sigurd and charging at us with a lance. I'd say that's carried away.
Oh, no. It's all right.
I don't mean to put you on the spot. Perhaps we should call it a day, But let's agree to chat again in the morning. What do you say? Pinky promise?
Oh no, don't agree with Aaliyah! If you break a pinky promise, you have to stick a cupcake in your eye!
All right.
And yes, we have Liberation, I don't know, yeah.
Spectacular as ever.
Now, there is a mechanical benefit to talking to allies after battle sometimes, especially if they were the MVP. But we're not going to be getting access to it just yet. Also, finally, some animals I can actually speak to! Or not. Okay, I guess we're not even allowed to talk to animals yet, but hi, cat. I love cats. I have a lot of cats, in my local neighborhood that I just walk past and they say hello to me. Hello, cat. Another cat. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I know I'm gonna like it here, because Lumera has a lot of cats, and I like cats. It also can get berries! And there is another glowing spot up here. Let's investigate that for... Iron ingot times 20. Much better than I was expecting. Iron ingots are very important, but we'll get into why eventually. Now we haven't spoken to you yet.
Please rest easy for today.
Only voice half of that line. But, yeah. So, Aaliyah has committed themselves to a pinky promise and the cupcake fate, should they break it. Next time, we will see... well, yeah, I guess I'll talk about the events of the next chapter next time. But let's just say that things get a little more intense. So, see you all then.